and then Thunderbelt Oracle Queen's Wings. So I'm curious to see which option we're going to see for the debut of Lucas on the international stage.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Let's see. So this is going to be one of the few classics. Hold on, it's a Hilda mid. So Haji is on the Hilda and got that Perk Ziva on the Angela. Definitely something I haven't seen before. But what's the objective though? Like, so you have a Hilda mid. I do assume that you can move around the map very fast since you have access to the side lanes. But what about the jungle pressure? Because it definitely feels like they don't really have the agency that you think they do.
Hilda mid has good wave clear, combos well with Angela and opening up the map because you're able to move very quickly. But you are right, Husky. It means that they're not really able to check the jungle as efficiently since Hilda has to be in mid lane to clear up the minions. Not to mention that it's going to be a bit difficult for him to straight up duel against Chokeskirt because Farsa can just play at a distance. So they're really trying to extend this into side lane pressure instead.
You do find Haji, who is pretty darn good at running away, that's for sure. Can't lock him down, at least not for now. But we say that he has that wave clear with Perk Ziva by his side, but you can kind of say the same for Lazy, right? You can never really threaten the structures. And another problem that we are going to eventually see is how is Blacklist International going to start sieging structures without outplay?
Yeah, there basically isn't any way for them to do that, right? Like, they don't have the range advantage at all. There's no artillery for them to play with outside of this Granger, and that is, of course, physical damage. So Lazy can itemize against that if that is going to become the concern. Not to mention that I still don't think they have enough crowd control to lock people down for MP.
We will find Puckbet, who just Sacred Hammers away. LazyEsports will give this turtle over the Blacklist. It's not their primary concern. The Blacklist will get a free objective. But again, how are they gonna get on top of LazyEsports, right? In game 1, we talk about having just one Gato Kacha is not enough. But now that you mention it, there really isn't a way to engage, and Puckbet just flickers Sacred Hammer, tries to go for outplay, doesn't find him though. He's gonna drop low. First blood over the Blacklist International. Sacred Beast on top of Perk Ziva, but here comes the Hard Guard. MP the King shows up, ready to unleash 10,000 volts, not able to find a target, so LazyEsports disengage.
Yeah, I think that was a bit unwise from Lazy because Puckbet is not level 4. If he had Implosion, that would have changed things completely, though Outplay did still have Purify, so it's hard to say to what extent. But Lazy do still have to be somewhat respectful here. This is Angela, Hilda, Joy. Their early game is actually pretty scary, and you don't quite have enough burst damage to really take them down until Chokeskirt has like that first or second item. So they don't really need to force themselves to make things happen. I think that's why they didn't go for the turtle, but then they... Oh, hold on.
Whoa, Puckbet, he's just gonna take it this time with Implosion. A worthy trade for sure, gives his life up and allows Shizo to take the kill on Outplay.
That was... Oh, hold on. Haji, they see James Pang's gonna steal this jungle camp away. The more they can snowball MP, the better. This Joy, unfortunately, didn't really get much of a chance to play the game in game number 1. So now they're putting extra attention into him because they know that this is really going to be their mid-game burst because they don't have a mage.
Yeah, they don't. And not to mention, they don't really have the best heroes to hit structures. Not just that, the anti-siege from LazyEsports is also pretty insane, right? You have great long-range pokes and bursts from Farsa, even the Suyo to a certain extent. Also, some great gap closers. LazyEsports, they're gonna lose Puckbet again as Haji just cleaves him in half with the axe. So Blacklist International will get the second turtle of the game.
Yeah, I was seeing that Puckbet was getting caught down there on the minimap, and it was like a 3-4-man gank because Blacklist were already rotating over for the turtle, so Lazy's just not really in position to deal with that. So this is going to start building up now. Blacklist nearly at a 1k gold lead, pretty good start. They want to try and keep extending this because they do have heroes that will drop off quite hard when you get into the mid to late game. The more of a lead you have early, the better it's going to be, and the more you can deny from Lazy. The fact that James Punks has still gone for a Sky Piercer this game, like in game 1, I thought, oh, he went for it to counter the Revitalize. There's no Revitalize this game. James Punks just like Sky Piercer's Rio.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the goal is just to, I mean, Soul Saver does do percentage damage, so might as well, right? You get them to the threshold in an instant and they just pop. But yeah, I mean, Lazy, they're playing it slow. They're being really patient. Even James Punks, like no rush to invade in any way. They know that they always have that initiative. Every time they roll the dice, they're gonna have that innate advantage. And here comes the big siege. Outplay and Perks both having to disengage. Another implosion flicker this time, followed up by James Punks. Outplay gets out, but they do lose Perks Ziva though. So no Angela means no hard guard. Means LazyEsports ready to fight. Dirt unleashes the beast. It's Pikmin against 2. Vacant number 3. James Punks shows up. JM still alive. As Haji wants to help out, but can't really do too much. Though the Inferno Pursuit actually just slams 2 members of Lazy into the grave, and with the respawn of Perks Ziva, he's gonna rejoin the fight with a hard guard, tied her down with a puppet on the string, another pullback into a slam, and this is just too much for LazyEsports. 4 kills for Blacklist.
Angela Hilda is a little bit disgusting, I'll just say that right now, but that was also very messy from LazyEsports. That was just straight up a mistake. I already mentioned there is no need for them to really try to force things out here. I think Outplayed did an incredible job of opening up the bushes in his lane, right? The fact that Chokeskirt was already below health HP before the fight even started made it difficult for LazyEsports to engage, and they still tried to force it, even committing Zaman Force for Zizo to jump behind the tier 1. And after all that, they're just out of position, right? You have Haji on Hilda, you have JM on Phobius. These are really good dive heroes that are good at punishing you for overextending. And that's exactly what LazyEsports did. There's no reason for them to force situations like that. And now the gold lead is firmly in favor of Blacklist. It is now 4K, 7 minutes in, a 7 kill score to 2. Things are looking grim.
Yeah, LazyEsports essentially lost a 4v5. And that's also under the pretenses of them taking out an Angela, forcing the Granger out of the fight, and just completely flattened by this Phobius. We get the Feather of Heaven for Shizo, and Outplay trying to get this turret. We'll eventually get it for sure, as we have a fresh minion wave coming in. LazyEsports will trade the bottom tier 1. But this is probably one of the largest gold lead we've had in this series for either team. Close to a 4K for Blacklist, with the Lord 50 seconds away from spawning.
This is actually a little bit of a reversal from game 1, right? In game number 1, Blacklist had to be more careful with their resources, while Lazy would want to force cooldowns out from them. It's the other way around here. Lazy is a lot more burst-based, right? They need to wait for implosion timings, Feathered Airstrike timings, Zaman Force timings. Heck, even Lucas needs to wait for Unleash the Beast to be available. So they cannot be the ones forcing things to happen, especially if they're not able to guarantee a quick and easy kill and escape. In that previous fight, I don't really even feel like they were properly checking information of the map before they committed to the tower dive, and because of that, they got caught out by Haji, right? So they cannot do that. In game 1, I praised them for being willing to be so aggressive even when the situation didn't look that good. In this game, they cannot do that, just straight up. They have to be more disciplined. Otherwise, Blacklist is gonna keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, you can definitely sense that the sheer determination, right? Like, well, you have a team just running under tier 1, taking aggro just for a play to happen. Now this is important for LazyEsports, but I don't think they can even have a chance. So hovering around the area, actually resetting the lore a little bit, as MP tries to go for the backline. Pugbear will have to commit the implosion into a Feather Airstrike. Pugbear flickers away. Dur hits the backline with Unleash the Beast and controls all of them with the flash combo, allowing Shizo to just dash in and out, but gets pulled back by JM mid-dash. So Shizo finds a double kill in the process. And BlacklistInternational now has to clean things up, and unfortunately, Wings by Wings will run out. MP the King takes down the Farsa. LazyEsports loses 4.
Alright, I will just give a very practical piece of advice to LazyEsports now. Bait the hard guard. That's all you gotta do. Make it look like you're gonna start a fight, wait for the hard guard comes out, back off, and then re-engage. Because you are just not killing anyone with this Angela, right? It doesn't matter if it's MP, it doesn't matter if it's Haji. You saw how little damage that feathered airstrike was doing. It is not something that LazyEsports can handle right now, and Blacklist is fully aware of it. Not to mention that Lazy is still falling into the same pattern. They are using their cooldowns too quickly. They are overcommitting. And that, well, you're playing against a Joy, right? The first thing in every game you want to see as a Joy player is your opponent to overcommit resources.
That, and also JM is having the time of his life. Having Shizo dash in front of him with the Chrono Dash and empowered by the Zaman Force, he is just refreshing his passive every few seconds. In JM, he is... I think he's virtually unkillable right now. I would argue
a little bit.
He would even go for an Oracle if he wants to, but Lazy should be able to firmly deal with this Lord with the amount of damage that they have. Feather Airstrike, a couple of bursts from Shizo should do the job. Holy Crystal now just got purchased. Shizo will start hurting for sure. The siege continues though, and Blacklist now, JM in the backline with the vengeance and takes out James Pang. Punkbet is also out of position, but Shizo, he himself gets rid of both Haji and Outplay, and JM is in no man's land. He will also be punished by the Lucas. Lazy keeps that base intact.
That is what Lazy has been waiting for. They've been waiting for an opening, and finally Blacklist makes a mistake. I feel like the name of this series is just whoever overcommits first, right? Because in this case, it was Blacklist who decided, hey, I'm going to split up my team and dive between your inhibitor and let you dismantle my backline while leaving my front line completely stranded after the fight is done, you know? Like, there needs to be just a little bit more forward thinking here. These teams have leads. That means they can play aggressive, yes, but it doesn't mean they need to. So I'll take a step back. Blacklist still has the advantage. 3K is still nothing to scoff at. They already have taken out all the external towers for Lazy. Just don't do that again. Simple as that.
That, and also Lazy has some crazy backline dives with Shizo and Dur. Like,
yes.
Sometimes people underestimate how much of a distance you cover with the flash stab. That's a single man implosion into a Sacred Hammer. They really want to take down JM, but he survived to all of that using Vengeance, so Punkman is dead. But Dur once more with the flash combo keeps them under control, but it's not enough. Shizo gets blown up by MP as it lets them taste the electric chair, and James Parks trying to survive the Sky Piercer. Does not proc. Triple kill for MP the King, and LazyEsports loses 4 of their members.
I feel like I'm just seeing the same thing over and over again. I mean, you know what? Committing the full combo on JM, not a bad idea if you're able to kill him, but they were just a little bit short. So in this case, I don't really blame Lazy. If they actually killed the Phobius, that would have been a very different fight. And they were very close to doing so. They just didn't realize the numbers, and there's no way you're gonna be able to count that in the middle of the fight. Shizo actually was popping off like crazy in that fight. Like, his positioning was great around the Zaman Force, but MP with Angela is just a bit too much, you know? Like, there's a reason why the Angela pick is considered a bit of a cheese hero at times, alright? So it shows that the teams are actually fighting fairly evenly. They just need to be a little bit smarter about it rather than just throwing cooldowns the instant that they see someone.
Yeah, not to mention that JM didn't even receive the hard card. He just pressed Vengeance.
Yes.
Despite all that, like,
that's all he needs.
Dur got like a maxed out flash combo onto 3 guys of Blacklist, and still MP left that fight with full health.
Yeah. So the thing about Lucas is that he really doesn't do that much damage. He's more of a sustained DPS fighter, right? So he's able to be very annoying the longer the fight goes, but in terms of burst damage, he really doesn't do that much, even though his animations look like they would. So BlacklistInternational, they're very bulky, still very durable, and still a lot of damage because James Punks didn't know what hit him there. Lord gonna finally be cleared up, but so will the remaining inhibitors for LazyEsports.
JSpot was so far away from home. I wonder what the... I know I saw him in the bottom end. I thought he just wanted to deal with the wave. It's completely out of position. So this should be all inhibitors down for Lazy. They need to wait 15 more seconds for James Punks. No feather airstrike as of this point. PUBG needs the implosion of his life to even try to keep the game alive. So all inhibitors finally destroyed. That's a big goal advantage over the Blacklist. I think a 7,000 lead, the biggest we've seen in the series so far.
I think Blacklist just has a lot of freedom now that they have a 6k gold lead, right? They can make mistakes and still not really be punished too hard for it, and a lot of that is because of JM. This Phobia's pick early on in the draft, a massive move to because like there's just not enough burst. You would think that Farsa would have enough, but because they were left behind early on, they're not really able to dispatch him easily, which means that the fight is split in half every single time. And Shizo has to jump forward in order to try and target outplayed, which means that he's pretty vulnerable most of the time. If you ask me for
they want to look for JM again. This feels like deja vu. Is the same location that they fight. JM survives, and they lose Choke's Skirt. Dur is dead for sure. If anyone has a replay button, don't worry. That is not the same fight, but the result almost the same. Lazy, they might just have to surrender this. Only 3 members up against Blacklist. No resources left in the tank. MP the King looking for Shizo. Can't find it. Shizo dancing around with the Zaman Force, actually keeping Blacklist at bay. So all things considered, right? Like, LazyEsports still are in the game.
Shizo legitimately the final bastion for LazyEsports right now. He is the only person that actually does any damage to BlacklistInternational. They have to defend him so heavily. And by the way, before that fight started, the sentence I was about to say, in my opinion, don't start the fight with implosion. And that's exactly what happened. LazyEsports has to realize that this direct, like front to back, honest initiation style is not going to work. They gotta vary it up. They've gotta change something.
Maybe not go for JM. Not that there's any other viable target that's in range. That
like, I don't know. Because JM is just an unbreakable wall right now. Don't start the fight with implosion. I would say try to like save the implosion for the middle of the initiation when Blacklist gets a bit comfortable. Maybe let Dur be the one to start the fight, even if it's a bit less efficient. Who knows if they have the time to make that adaptation, because Blacklist is pushing in.
They gotta use everything to deal with this siege. MP makes a full ring around the Rosie, not finding any kills though. So Lazy, well, still keeps the game alive. Somehow this game is going into the ultra late game stage. But 18 minutes in, 3 lords have been slain, and yet Blacklist haven't found the end just yet. LazyEsports literally just hanging on by a thread.
So one of the potentially biggest weaknesses of Blacklist's comp is that their ability to take towers is pretty bad. Like, their siege is not bad because, you know, Def Sonata just does a lot of damage from afar, but Granger as a skill spam type marksman is actually not that good at taking down towers very quickly. And then besides that, you just have a bunch of fighters and mages. So because of that, with the Farsa as well as the Lucas, the displaced minions, Lazy actually has a pretty good way of defending their base. Blacklist needs to try and force them out of the base, dispatch them, then push in, because otherwise it's kind of difficult to force directly into them.
And that's something that we sort of established at the start as well, right? Like, eventually will come to the point where Blacklist will find it hard to take down structures. Not to mention that your only structure destroyer, the only demolisher, also needs to be careful of all the ways that Lazy can kind of blow him up. Wishing Lantern for Choke Skirt, extra bit of damage against the big front lines, big beefy members of Blacklist. Another dance to wait for the Lord to come back up in just a little bit. Lord number 4. The thing is, Lazy, just because they don't have inhibitors, will maybe have to continue playing this, you know, tower defense game. Although Pink JM Pinkman is starting to lose a lot of health to defend the airstrike.
That Wishing Lantern actually a very important. Oh, the Winter Crown!
What a Winter Crown dodge! So the implosion is now gone. LazyEsports, they were still able to keep Blacklist at bay, but JM is getting healed back up. No implosion means no means of engage for LazyEsports. So this Lord is in control by Blacklist.
If JM isn't the MVP after this, I don't know what to say. So that is, of course, if Blacklist wins, because it's actually not impossible for Lazy to turn this around still. Chokeskirt actually has damage now, finally, 20 minutes into the game. He's had a hard time. We see the Feathered Airstrike come out.
Oh, wants to look for outplay, commits the flicker for it, doesn't find it. But there's another problem, right? That wave is shoving in topside. Chokeskirt forced to go back and deal with it. We even see fleeting time for Puckbat. Not sure if you can even put that to good use. Blacklist assumes control of the Lord again, and this time they know for a fact that someone from Lazy will not be there.
Gonna try and see if they can push this. Puckbat is in the back line. Blacklist still resetting the Lord. Oh no! Not a...
Oh no, Puckbat! He missed the full combo! And that's the sign for Blacklist to again take the fight to Lazy, and here comes the hard guard and MP. Puckbat comes back with immortality. Dirt just gets low now, trying to go for outplay. And this is just too much from the side of Blacklist. Unless Shizo can somehow keep it alive, but if you are Blacklist International, you really don't care about the kills. Although they will still end up losing Haji. LazyEsports trades 2 in return, but here comes MP the King. It's either James Pang or Shizo. Shizo will try to fight. 1-2 tap. Flickers over the wall. Goes for Perziva, but still goes down thanks to Outplay, who keeps his support alive. And now the hard guard comes back up online. It's on the MP. James Pang and Choska, the only member to try to keep it alive. A good stun.
Oh my god, oh my god.
He's out of bounds. Still sniped out by Outplay. And at the end, Blacklist International slugs it out and finds the equalizer. It's 1-1.